And now, the general weather around Alaska.
We'll start off with satellite imagery here, and pretty good low here spinning up earlier right southeast of Kodiak Island there, bringing winds gusting to 40 miles an hour or more to the east side of the island there. And hard to see, but right in here, another developing low tracking up off the southeast coast brought gale force and storm force winds to the central and north coast of the Panhandle today, with Cape Decision and places like that seeing gusts to as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour, and pretty breezy over the inside waters as well, with heavy rain occurring down over portions of the southern southeast coast. And otherwise, back to the west here, you can see a fair amount of clearing over the southwest interior. A few clouds around the Fairbanks area, mid and high level, really just dry clouds, and not too bad off to the northeast, and some clouds here along the Arctic coast north slope into the western Brooks Range, and north to south flow here. Rolling this through again, you can see pulling this cloudiness down to the south with some shower activity here down to the Alaska Peninsula, winds gusting anywhere from 30 to 45 miles an hour this afternoon, and then extending back up toward the Pribilofs. They had gusts closer to 40 miles an hour earlier today at St. Paul and St. George, and pretty breezy right up to the Bering Strait. Out to the west, some disorganized clouds out there, main system back to the northwest there over the Russian Far East. On the chart here, high pressure out there underneath the surface, high underneath that area of cloudiness out there, but light winds, dry conditions, north to south winds here again, pretty gusty with some scattered showers, becoming a little more numerous as they hit the terrain of the Alaska Peninsula and possibly the eastern Aleutians there. Otherwise, again, light winds, dry, fair amount of clearing here over the central interior, right on down into Bristol Bay and along and south of the Alaska Peninsula with that northerly flow. Here's this low center off the coast of Kodiak. That's starting to slip southeastward now, so the rain's ended there at Kodiak State Airport with the diminishing winds as well. And I got moderate rain this afternoon occurring at many locations in the southeast coast, and about 2 1/3 or more inches of rain falling today in Ketchikan, and that's resulted in some minor flooding in the greater Ketchikan area. That'll continue into tonight as the rain continues to fall, but eventually it will become lighter. And then the strong winds here, that gradient as this low pulls northwestward, we'll see tonight that moves right into Prince William Sound, starts to weaken, so it's going to stay wet, Prince William Sound. And after the rain ended at Portage this afternoon, it'll probably pick back up again, definitely Whittier, and extend eastward with rain possibly moderate to maybe heavy at times from the North Gulf Coast in toward Yakutat and the northern Panhandle. Front moving in and weakening, rain will become lighter down to the south. This low starting to slide a little more to the southeast, and the higher pressure out here to the west keeps the northerly winds going over the eastern Bering Sea and along the coast here down to the Alaska Peninsula, where it'll be the strongest. Chance of light snow up there over the western Arctic coast and locally into the western north slope, with mixed precipitation along the Chukchi Sea there to the northern Seward Peninsula, and maybe some of that slipping through the Bering Strait a little bit there. And then also some chances of light snow, less than an inch accumulation for areas from, say, Eagle to Chicken. Otherwise, it stays dry over the interior. And out to the west, we have high pressure centered just south of the central Aleutians. And then that system way up there to the northwest there tomorrow starts to slide southeastward here slowly, but still really out of the area. Could bring a chance of rain to Shemya area and out too in those locations late in the day tomorrow. Otherwise, high pressure sliding eastward, light winds, and dry conditions there. And that high ridging right up across the Pribilofs and then toward the Bering Strait. Look for much lighter winds for St. Lawrence Island there, as well as the Pribilofs, eastern Aleutians. Still low breezy for the Alaska Peninsula, but showers less numerous, more scattered to widely scattered. Isolated showers here for Norton Sound, and a chance of light snow with a weak thing up there from the Arctic Ocean extending down along the central and western Arctic coast. Really not much of any accumulation expected there. Could be less than half an inch or so, maybe a quarter inch at most, with isolated showers into the Brooks Range. Otherwise dry in the central interior here, some clearing. Dry day for Kodiak Island, and still wet and unsettled for the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, And at least the northern and western southeast coast there, as that front weakens and pushes into western British Columbia, this low tracking southeastward, but that flow continues to pump surges of moisture northward here, again keeping it damp and unsettled along the North Gulf Coast. But that improves as that low tracks east-northeastward toward the central coast of the Panhandle. May end up with a dry day for the most part here for the North Gulf Coast, and stays wet over the central and southern southeast coast, but winds on the light side and precipitation not that heavy at all, and some isolated snow showers maybe along the Alaska range here. Otherwise, another nice day over all of interior Alaska. Still looking at a chance of some light snow for the central and western Arctic coast, and this low tracking eastward brings some light rain with a front into maybe St. Lawrence Island, Yukon Delta coast, Nunivak Island, light rain, fog, drizzle, Pribilofs. Another system down to the south, not all that strong, brings a chance of some light precipitation into the central Aleutian areas, but look for some partial clearing for the Alaska Peninsula as well as Kodiak Island. And from there, lows for tonight, 15 to 20 for the Brooks Range, 20s and 30s for the either North Slope and Arctic coast as well as the central interior, 30s for southern Alaska, right out to the Aleutians where it's a little closer to 40 there, and then the lower to mid 40s for the southeast coast. Highs tomorrow, upper 40s to lower 50s here for south central Alaska, mid 40s Copper River Basin, Kuskokwim Valley, lower 40s as you head out toward the coastline, getting down to around 40 there, and then mid 40s for the Pribilofs, mid 30s St. Lawrence Island, 30s from the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast, and highs upper 40s to maybe the mid 50s for the southeast coast. And the lows for Tuesday morning, not much change here. Again, 20s in the interior, teens in the Brooks Range, and 20s lower 30s for the North Slope and Arctic coast. Lows in the 30s here, south central Alaska, upper 20s Copper River Basin, with lows in the 40s again for the Panhandle. That'll be followed by highs in the upper 40s to lower 50s for the southeast coast, near 50 Kodiak Island, lower to mid 40s Bristol Bay, 45 to 50 south central Alaska, and upper 30s to lower 40s in the interior there, warmest around the Fairbanks area over toward Eagle, and then down toward Tok, lower 40s, 20s for the Brooks Range, and 30s for the Arctic coast.